So, I'm nearly 30. I'll be 30 in 3 months. And I don't feel great about it. So I really want to get to the bottom of exactly why that is and figure out what I can do to not feel crap about turning 30. Because it shouldn't be a big deal. I have just moved back into my house in Melbourne after isolating with my parents in country Victoria, Australia, for the last 9 months. And now I am officially living by myself for the first time in my life. And I'm sitting here in the quiet by myself thinking, it's time I got my shit together. And I think the fact that I am turning 30 so soon is what's really lit the fire under my ass. I think, or at least I feel, this huge pressure that you have to have your life sorted out by 30. Like 20s are your years that you mess around and you figure shit out, but by the time that you're 30, you need to have all that shit wrapped up tight. And I know that logically, everyone's journey is different. Life isn't a race and people will get to their different points at different times. But I feel like the reason that I feel so about turning 30 is because I'm not where I want to be. So I started to think, what aspects of my life do I need to change so that I can feel good about turning 30? I can actually feel positive, or at least just not bleh about it. And the most glaringly obvious one is my career, or lack thereof. So prior to lockdown and pretty much the entirety of last year, I was working 4 jobs. One of them was acting, which was of course extremely inconsistent. And then I was working 3 other casual jobs. None of them I would call a career. They were just jobs that I did to give me money so that I could keep pursuing acting, which was the desired career. I want to avoid going on a massive tangent here, but what I think is important to know before we start really getting into the meaty parts of this video is that I've always wanted to be an actor. But particularly within the last 9 months in lockdown, I've really started to think, but do I? Do I really? There are a lot of different reasons for why I've started to think this. I wonder if my metrics for success and my morals and my, I guess, guiding principles in life and what I want out of life have changed as I've gotten older. Maybe I just haven't really allowed myself to reanalyze if acting is something that I really want to do, because it's just something that I've wanted to do since I was so young. And when I think about moving on to something else or trying something different, it feels like failure because it feels like I'm just abandoning my dream. Or is it just that I'm feeling burnt out from pursuing it for so long and feeling like I'm not making enough headway? Because when I actually do go to shoots, when I am actually acting, I really enjoy it. But then actually getting acting work is so inconsistent, and I don't really enjoy the parts in between. That uncertainty. I was okay for a very long time, but as I'm getting older, I'm really getting over that. And it's like, do I push through? Or do I just change to something else because I'm really not enjoying it anymore? But I guess it comes down to, as Mark Manson says in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, what are you willing to suffer for? Because that's where you'll find your success, I guess. Like, am I willing to keep trudging along in the starving artist lifestyle? Or do I want to just have a stable income and spend time with my family and friends? But then if I don't do acting, what do I do? The tough questions. My issue is, and I'm sure that a lot of people won't see this as an issue, but I am interested in so many different things. And I could see myself in so many different career roles. For a while, I really considered becoming a doctor. Not that it's as simple as just saying, like, I want to be a doctor and then you are. I really considered studying my ass off and sitting my medical exams and going for my interviews and seeing if I could get into medicine. But I wasn't sure enough about it to really commit myself to it. Because I could also see myself as a vet, or a physiotherapist, or a graphic designer, or a video editor, or about a million other things. There are so many different areas that I could feasibly see myself working in, even if it was just one that's a more stable side job while I'm still pursuing acting. But whenever I try to just nail one down, it just seems like such a big decision that I just go round and round in my head and I do nothing. Well, not nothing at all. I generally do some sort of productive procrastination, which is usually going for a walk and listening to a self-help audiobook or an interesting podcast that sort of tackles how to figure your life out. Or I consume some sort of media on the topic of figuring out your life. For example, I am currently re-listening to the audiobook of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck for the third time, and I've also read the physical book as well. So this is the fourth time I've consumed this particular book, and I still seem to be giving way too many fucks. I'm rambling, see? This is my brain. Pew 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 pew! That's my neurons firing all over the place. Anyway, getting back to it. Although I've almost definitely been using all these self-help books, audiobooks, podcasts, TED Talks, etc. as a form of productive procrastination, I have actually taken away some really great advice from them, but I really need to start actioning that to a greater level in my life. Some of the best advice, and I think the advice that will be most impactful and relevant to my life, has come from Mel Robbins. And there are two pieces of advice I want to mention right now. These are not direct quotes. The first one is, when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, don't speed up, which is so easy to do. Instead, slow down and break it down and work through it that way. And secondly, stop viewing the action that you need to take toward your goals as this huge monumental leap. Instead, think of it as building a bridge brick by brick. You're going to get to your goals step by step, not by taking this massive jump and just getting there in one go. Similarly to, think about a marathon runner and think about how you complete a marathon by doing it step by step. You don't just jump all the way to the end. People have this idea of overnight success, and when you look at other people and things they've achieved in their lives, very few people just stumble onto massive success. Almost everyone has to put in the time and the hours to become truly great at something. So when a goal seems too big or a dream seems too insurmountable, just break it down. Break it down into smaller steps, something that you can just do today without, having a mental breakdown. For example, in the first half of this year, I kept thinking I'd really love to run a YouTube channel about minimalism and life experiments and finding meaning in your life, etc., etc., pretty much all this content right now. And it just seemed like this really huge thing to do. But then I listened to some of Mel Robbins' audiobooks and I thought, okay, so what do I need to do? So, one day I created the new channel. And then the next day I was working on some channel art, because these are all things that I can do in a day, in an afternoon, that is a step toward the goal without having to think too much about the final product of a successful YouTube channel. And then I said, I'm going to release a video every week. And then so every week between around about the middle of the year until a couple weeks ago when I had a break over Christmas, I was releasing a video every single week. And then video by video, I've slowly been building this channel. And now I've had this channel for about 6 months and I'm really enjoying it. So break your goal down into small, actionable blocks or bricks, and then do those actions. Brick by brick, you'll build that bridge and you'll eventually get there, even if that bridge is a bit longer than what you thought it was going to be. I feel like I've spent most of my 20s in this sort of perpetual stress spiral where I felt like I'm really under the pump and I need to start taking action, but I don't have time to slow down and figure out what that action is. I just need to start doing, but then I don't do anything because I'm not sure what the next step should be, and I just feel overwhelmed by everything that I need to do, and then I just go round and round in circles and I don't get anywhere. And then I feel stressed about feeling stressed all the time. Feedback loop from hell, Mark Manson. So, at the moment, I'm still largely unemployed. There is occasional acting work, but as I said, it is very irregular. And university, the course that I'm currently enrolled to do, doesn't start back until March, so I think now is the perfect time for me to just slow down, delve into some feelings, and figure some shit out. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to tackle this. I'm just gonna do some deep, probably quite uncomfortable soul searching and see where it takes me. And I thought I'd do this on camera with all of you guys because A, it'll actually keep me accountable for my actions and make me actually do something, and B, it might actually help somebody else get out of a similar rut. Because I feel like so many people have this idea that it's too late for them to figure their lives out, that they're too old to make a big change and they just need to live in their unhappiness until they die, which just isn't true. I was speaking to a 17-year-old aspiring actor a couple weeks back, and she was saying how she already felt so overwhelmed and behind and that she'd never catch up, and how would she even begin her acting career when blah 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 had her first role by the time she was 17, and etc etc. And I was just thinking, I relate to you so much because this is where my brain was at when I was 17. But now as someone who's nearly 30, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, oh my God, you've got so much time to sort your shit out. Just like, calm down, take a breath, and start taking some actions. And really it's as simple as that, but that's something that I couldn't see when I was 17. And still even now, I keep getting overwhelmed with the amount of things that I have to do. And it's like, well, 40-year-old me will probably be yelling at 30-year-old me being like, you've got so much time, just take a breath and do some thinking. So hopefully I can prove that it's never too late to figure your shit out with this. Regardless of what I decide, regardless of what career path I end up going down, I think I'd really like to still keep YouTube in my life in some aspect. Like if I decided that I wanted to study nutrition and dietetics, for example, I would love to start adding some videos about nutrition to this channel. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see where life takes me. We'll see where my soul searching ends up. Anyway, I'll see you in whichever mind experiment, soul searching thing I try first. All right, I'm back because I thought about it and I decided that it is definitely going to be multiple videos, because if I try and put all this in one video, it's going to be too long with too many different fucking things. So yes, each video will be a different sort of experiment thing that I try to make meaning of my purpose in life, even though life is inherently meaningless. What? Who said that? Anyway, see you in the next video. Bye!